Alright, what's up everybody? My name is Richard and today we're going to be talking about my Integra. Not only do I have one, but I have two. Here's one that I recently just got off Facebook Marketplace for $550, and I got that one as a parts car. We'll be talking one more about that later. This one over here, as you can see, the silver Integra that I have over there, that one's my daily driver. It is automatic, a stock B series B18 B1. However, not for long. As you can see over here, we have this K20 B1 engine swap that we're going to be putting into there. I did a few things on this already so far, like the fuel setup, fuel gauge, fuel regulator, the fuel rail on there, some AN lines just to kind of clean everything up, getting it ready basically for the swap. We'll talk more about that later when we get to that point. If you look right over here, as you can see, we have the oil swap radiator. Then we'll also too, we have the DC Sports headers. And then, let me see the camera. And then if you can see here, we have quite a bit of parts. Right here we have the shifter plate along with the Type S K20 shifter box. Here we have Evo Energy -8, or is it -6? I'm not too sure. Or actually, yeah, right here, -6 fuel line. We're gonna be routing all the way from the feed and the return. And then also over here too, what's gonna allow us to do that is modifying the fuel tank with this JB tuned fuel tank mod kit right here. We have some hybrid racing D10 springs. We have the Honda K Pro along with the conversion harness. Right here we have a Type R JDM cluster. It's literally a dream right there. Can't believe I actually have one. Right here we have the Resto Tuner hardware kit along with the hybrid racing 36mm hubs with the extended lugs on there. Here we have the innovative K-swap mounts. Also too, since the silver one is an automatic, this is a clutch pedal assembly. We're going to be installing there as well. Here's just a few miscellaneous things like the bearings for the hubs. Here we have a shift knob in there. This right here is going to be the clutch master cylinder along with the clutch line here as well. Then we have the brakes for the CRV, so it's a budget big brake kit along with the Mini Cooper rotors with the TSX brake pads and the 1320 spacers. And just a few miscellaneous things also too for the brake line, stainless steel, full setup, along with the rubber hose that go from the caliper to the main lines. So yeah, we got quite a bit of work ahead of us here. Definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, we got this red one right here. Found it on Facebook Marketplace. $500. Of course, you know, if it's for a deal, there has to be something wrong with it. It does have some rear end damage, not on this side. As you can see that for the most part, the body's still pretty clean. It's right over here where the major issue is. As you can see, that quarter panel is smashed in pretty good. I'm okay with that. We got the welding machine. We'll be able to fix it. So I'm going to hand the camera here back to my son. Let me pull this silver Integra in. You want to go stand over there?
Hi. So recently my dad has been in love with cars. Recently, he gets car parts from Facebook Marketplace, and he usually gets them from shops. So you can see right here that he just went into the Honda Acura, and we have the Integra. This is the Honda. And then we got, just like he said, we got this one from Facebook Marketplace. we have this engine right here. I forgot what the name is, but this is actually our first YouTube video. So I hope we get 100 likes and some subscribers. And he has a big welding machine. I think it's text power. So yeah, just like he said, he's gonna bring a Integra in, and he's gonna make it's because it's raining. You can kind of see by the weather. Um.
Alright. It would stop raining after I bring my car in. Alright, so here we go. Let's check this one out. Like I said, this one's completely stock. It isn't automatic. It's been really reliable. I haven't had any issues with it. Sounds good. But you know, once it's an automatic, we're gonna have to change that. I can't be with it like that for that long. I've definitely been looking forward to this swap for years. I never thought that there would be a day where I would actually be able to case swap my own Integra. I've always only ever seen it online, and I've only ever seen it on social media and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to be able to do it myself. If it wasn't for the YouTube community, and if it wasn't for, you know, all the information that is available online, I know I wouldn't be able to do this, of course, along with all the help of, you know, family and friends as well, to be able to get up to this point. So for right now, what we're going to start off with is we're just going to disassemble everything, drain all the fluids, get everything out of the car, so that way we can start to make space for the case swap. Since this chassis here doesn't have any type of engine or anything like that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the B18B1 out of this one here, and then we're gonna go and hook it up to the LS transmission. Alright guys, so I got the Integra pulled in. Right now what I'm planning on doing is just going over everything, draining the fluids, starting to unbolt everything that I'm going to be coming out. It's not going to be using for the swap. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on the time lapse and just see more or less of how far I can get up into that point. I'm going to have to clear some space around here. Of course, I'm working in a small area, so I'm going to work with what I got. Alright guys, that's about it for today. So far what we did was we brought the Integra inside the garage, we jacked it up, drained all the fluids, removed the radiator. We're gonna have to pause it for right now just because it is getting pretty late. Looks like it is 12:11. I gotta be at work at 6. So that's gonna be all for today. We're just gonna stop here and come back tomorrow. And depending on how the weather looks, I might end up having to go to this ranch where we're building horse pens. So I'm gonna end up having to TIG up some stuff and stick weld a little bit, maybe, depending on what, like I said, what the weather's looking like. It's been raining a lot over here. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. Made a lot of progress. I'm excited. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, as you can see, I kind of skipped a few things. I was able to pull the rest of the things out that I needed, like the electrical, any of the hoses, a few of the mounts. They was actually pretty easy to get off of just because they're so old that whenever I was going to unbolt them, they literally just came apart. I'm trying to see if I can find a piece here. I don't know, I probably already chunked it to the side. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue pulling this thing out. Still forgot this hose here. So what I was thinking of doing was putting this motor, the B18B1, in that red one over there. I just recently picked up the red Integra a few days ago from this robotics engineer. It was a guy who was selling the car on Facebook Marketplace, and he was driving it one day, going a little fast, and over in Bernie, Texas, the hill country, you know, there's a lot of rocks and, you know, hills, kind of, you know, a little bit dangerous going around turns and stuff like that. So he was going fast and lost control, ended up smacking the rear quarter panel. And during that process, while he was turning, he smacked into a rock. And I guess from what it was explained, he didn't clutch in all the way, where that ended up revving the engine out past its limits and blowing it up. That's what you can see. This, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a block right here that came out of this red one, and it ended up losing compression. So when I got it, it has the rear quarter panel damage, which I'm not decided on what I want to do with that yet. And also too, it has the engine that was blown, but that's fine because there's a few goodies that came on that car that we'll look into later when I decide to put this B swap in that one, which I'm gonna actually do before we complete the K swap on this one, just because this is gonna require more in-depth work as far as, you know, removing everything completely out of the bay, so it's completely bare, because we're going to be removing the brake lines, all the ABS delete. I have the 40, or is it a 3030 prop valve for it, along with stainless steel brake lines that go to that are routed all the way to the two main rear lines, and then the two front ones as well. So this one's gonna take a lot more work. I'll be able to slap together this one along with that LS 5-speed transmission together a lot sooner, so that way I can get this one running and driving, and then continue to work on this one. So that's my plan. If anyone needs this automatic transmission, I'll give away this thing for free, dude, because you know what? I've seen a few of them posted on social media and on Facebook Marketplace, and I haven't seen those things move at all. Poor guy, one that I was messaging on Facebook because I was thinking about just buying a rebuilt automatic transmission for this one. He said that he paid roughly around $2,000 or something to that effect, and just to rebuild that automatic transmission, one just like this. And to be honest, I don't think that it's worth paying that much. to be able to rebuild an automatic Integra transmission. At that point, for that amount of money, you should have just sourced out a 5-speed transmission and then still being able to refresh by rebuilding that one with new sync rows. And that would have been a more, I would think, efficient route long term instead of just rebuilding that. But he ended up removing the listing, listed it again for a cheaper price, and that thing still hasn't sold. So, like I said, I might as well just give this one away. It has its issues too. It was kind of slippy. So whenever you would drive, when the transmission would shift, it would rev out all the way, and the car wouldn't go forward anymore, and then it would eventually catch and then continue. But warmed up, she seemed to do all right. Socket stuck under here. There you go. All right, let's get this baby down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, there's a few things that I was looking at that I wanted to disassemble while it was on here. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. Okay, so yeah, like this half shaft here, I'm not gonna need this piece right here. I can remove this exhaust off of it. Just try to remove everything that I'm not gonna end up using when I swap it over to this one. So let's see. Let's take this half shaft off. Scoop this thing a little bit more over here. I need to get an engine stand, but at the same time too, having an engine stand in the garage, once it's already so full, it's hard to have storage for it, so it just gets in the way. Plus too, I never tend to have a engine on the engine stand for that long anyway. So we got 14. I wonder if a automatic half shaft, B series half shaft would work with the manual. Or actually, I have a manual half shaft right here. Let's see. They seem to be about the same size, but I'm not gonna risk it. Alright, this thing is tracking me. Turned off for a second. I'm doing a one-man show right here, so if it's not me or my son helping out, so we're working with what we got. Right now I'm using the DJI Mobile 8 gimbal. It has the face tracking, so think probably what I end up doing, just because I end up having to use my hands so much, is to end up getting like one of the, you know, Ray-Ban Meta glasses or something like that. That way I can have you know, a POV image video for you guys, whoever's watching, if anyone. Not that I really care, but it would be nice to know that this helps out somebody. I always like doing engine swaps just because having an OEM engine, having an OEM setup where you have all the brackets and little plastic pieces, retainers, stuff like that, my God, you could get frustrated so fast just from having to be so tedious with putting your hands in tight spaces, trying to, you know, get to a bolt that isn't meant to get off so easily. Come on. I like having the swaps because, you know, you're like, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. You start throwing it out all the time. I'm gonna have to figure this situation out. All right, everybody, that's gonna conclude our first video for the K-Swap Integra. What we got done so far: pulled the Integra in the garage. We were able to get it on the jack stands, disassemble everything enough to be able to pull the engine out of the car. As you can see from the first clip, that we have a lot of parts that we still need to install. So it's definitely going to be a fun one. This is my first time ever doing a case swap, and this is something that I've been, you know, waiting years, just thinking about, imagining one day, and I've decided now, why not do it now? Best time. Why wait any longer? You know, I'm tired of, you know, life continually getting in the way, because when you have things that matter to you, like your family, you know, your friends, your job, things like that, you tend to put those things first before your dreams. And you know what? I've had enough of that. Not to say that there's anything wrong, or I don't, you know, have a problem with doing those things, because that's what makes me who I am as a person, why I prioritize those certain things. However, I do think that it's important for you to chase and go after with the same level of intensity that you do with those other things for yourself and what you want with your life, whether it's chasing your dreams, whether it's dedicating yourself to something that you've never tried before, or that you've been really interested for some time now. You just continue to keep putting it off. Let this video be enough for you as well, and continue to invest in yourself. Thank you guys for coming along for the ride. I look forward to the next one. Peace.